Yeah.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Legro's Lab. Today we're in a field in the middle of Essex. Why are we in a field? Well, due to COVID restrictions we can't film inside the lab. So Legro and I thought, well, why not bring the lab outdoors? So what have we got in store for you on this episode? Today Legro's going to run you through a couple of core exercises he uses on the rollers.
And pedal stroke efficiency, get it right.
Legro, you all set?
What?
What? Are you ready?
Yeah, go on then. Yeah. So here we are, we're going to do this episode, we're going to focus on skill, riding on the rollers and a little bit of core work. So what we're going to do, have some fun now, but at the same time there's a serious bit to what we're trying to achieve. It's pedalling stroke efficiency, and believe it or not, people don't realise how inefficient their pedal strokes are. For instance, where you connect with the pedal at like 1 o'clock and bring it down, and you're not always aware of this. So I've got a skill that I've practiced and I've worked on other riders, and it's improved their pedalling efficiency, and they're also surprised on how much faster they can go as a result of it. So what it involves is focusing on one leg at a time, switching off one leg so that it's just trailing, and focusing on just the other leg, and try and picture in your mind where you connect the pedals. This is best done at a slow speed at first, so that you're picking up the pedals at 1 o'clock and you drive it down to 6 o'clock. And you do say 5 revs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, while that's going on, the other leg's being relaxed. So you swap legs, fire up the other leg, hit 1 o'clock again, relax the other leg, switch that off. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm focusing on just picking it up at 1 o'clock. I'm almost just relaxing the rest of the pedal stroke and then firing it up at 1 o'clock and then relaxing. When I've done both legs, say 5 or 6 revs, I then go back to both legs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that sort of thing. Now what you'll find through practice is when you're actually practicing this out, you find that when you end up doing both legs, you pick up the speed automatically, because your mind and your body are dialed in and focused on that pedal stroke. So now we want to focus our attention onto the pulling up stroke. Rather than pull up all in one go, again I'm going to isolate the hamstring now into, if you can imagine a clock, we've already discovered the 1 o'clock stroke down to 6 o'clock. So if you can imagine picking up the stroke at 5 o'clock and bringing it up to 7. And that is the only movement. But the same principle applies, where you let one leg go and then just relax the pedal stroke until you hit 5 o'clock and then bring it up to 7 o'clock. And obviously swap over legs. Doing the same thing where we switch the muscle on and off, where we connect at 5 o'clock down at the bottom end of the stroke and bringing it down to 7 o'clock. So it's just a small movement, and then do it for both legs. So the same thing. When you put the whole thing together, when you're doing the whole pedal stroke, if you can think about bringing it down at 1 o'clock and then switching it up from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Obviously that's only half the clock, but the other leg then takes over. And the skill is being able to work that with both legs individually, and it does take practice. So what we'd like to do now, this is just the fundamental basics on a pedal stroke. You don't need to go fast. If you notice, I'm pedaling very slowly so that I can, if I pedal too fast, it's going to be too much to just pick up 1 o'clock and pick up 5 o'clock. It's too much going on. So we're now going to focus, going another stage further on working on the core and doing some tricky maneuvers that we can have some fun with as well as. So this next exercise is a lot more advanced. It does take a certain amount of skill at first. Ideally you want a bench, not a field to work with for safety reasons. But at the end of the day, what we're trying to achieve here is to engage the core and the glute, and particularly isolate the glute. I don't know if any of you have had injuries or had your physio or massage woman talk to you about your glutes are not firing. This is a brilliant exercise for that, and also a brilliant exercise for engaging your core while firing up your glute. Before we do that, we have to form a bridge, and that's basically sitting upright, so you've got a straight back. you hit your abs, so you got some tension there, and you got your glutes, which you got some tension there. That is what we call a bridge. Now to hold that, it's quite difficult because it's quite a hold engagement, hard one. So if you get to a point where you can just relax it a bit, but you're still using your abs, still engaging your glutes, you've got a starting point. Once you've got your starting point, the next skill and practice is to clip out and just have one leg. Now this is the bit that can be a bit difficult, where you do need a bench and you pedal with one leg. Now that in its own is quite difficult. Where it gets really hard and where you hit your glute is where you bring up the leg to 90 degrees. Now my core is engaging and my glute there is working hard to hold this position. So that's a perfect way of doing that, but it does take a little bit of time and skill, and I do advise that you have a bench or something to work with, so just for stability at first. So there you have it. Rollers have more than one use other than just warming up or riding on them. You know, you can practice on your skills, core engagement, warming up techniques, all that sort of thing. So why not give us your thoughts in the comments, and we'll reply to you.
Don't forget to subscribe.
It's free.
Yeah.
That's got to be the one.